Hey all, here are OS Reviews. Today we're taking a quick look at the NEWMEN GM610. This is a compact wireless Bluetooth mechanical keyboard that is budget conscious and sells for around $55, including options to customize the switches from red, blue, or brown, so depending on if you want something more clicky or something that's a bit more quiet or in between. Now it's going to be compact, so 60% the size of a regular keyboard, and it is RGB backlit, so you get some interesting transition effects. The keyboard connects using Bluetooth 5.0 if you're using it in the wireless mode. Even comes with an extra pair of keycaps in the box, which you can use to invert the colors if you want to further decorate or switch up the design. We've got the red switch edition of the keyboard, and lifting things open, we have the sampling of those aforementioned red keycaps inside that you can actually replace if any of the ones included here breaks. And then underneath the mechanical keyboard, we get the extra set of aforementioned keycaps. Also to the right includes some accessories such as a keycap remover for more easily popping things out without damaging it. You can also wash the keycaps and clean them more easily. There's also a aforementioned USB Type-C cable for charging, as well as using it in the wired mode. So here's a closer look at the keyboard itself, which again, at 60% of the frame, it's super compact and doesn't take up much space at all on a desk, although you are losing something like a numpad. Otherwise, we have these, again, red accents going on, and just taking a closer look, here's what the thickness is like from the edge, so pretty standard. This is coming out of our last mechanical keyboard that we reviewed, which happened to be the NuFi Air 75. That was, again, the world's slimmest mechanical keyboard, so it's not really kind of a fair comparison. This is really not shabby for that price that they're asking. We've got the company's logo on the edge. The rails here are made out of a polycarbonate plastic instead of metal, but still feels relatively solid. I don't feel any flexing or anything as I'm pressing down. And on the very top here, we just have the Type-C port for charging or in the wired mode. The back here also features some soft touch rubber feet, although just like the NuFi, this doesn't have any pop-up additional kind of feet that you can use to further change the angle. So everything that you see here is fixed. It does have a slight ergonomic tilt upwards, but you can't further adjust this yourself. And we also have just a safety switch on the back for turning it on. Like other mechanical keyboards using Bluetooth 5.0, you can connect up to 3 devices at once and easily change between those 3 products by clicking on these keys. And if we flick things on and dim the lights, we see that this is a full RGB backlit keyboard, so it is illuminated. You can see things pretty easily in the dark, which is great. In order to get the size so compact, they had to consolidate features into the same key, so you'll have to press on function to trigger certain commands. For example, the arrow buttons down below here you can see is also corresponding to the Alt, Control, and question mark keys. They just serve double duty because of the limited size that they had to work with. You can also find some of the adjustments for the brightness of the keyboard and the transition effects hidden around here. So you can tap on function, for example, and this button to turn the transition effects into some of the other modes, including the sine wave pattern that looks pretty dazzling. Tap on it again and it will go into this rainbow color that is shifting downwards in terms of the pattern. Once more, it will go into this kind of randomized mode that reminds me a bit of the Matrix, and once more kind of goes into this ripple mode, kind of light is starting from this point and then going outwards like that. Once more, we'll go into this diagonal mode, go into the circle, and then just repeat itself once again. And then we now have kind of a mode that is just circling around that is better for demonstration purposes, maybe not as much for typing. It's not quite as practical, but an interesting mood light. And then again into this kind of random splintering effect. And once again, it will go into this row by row pattern. Change it again, and now we have just a bouncing pattern going left and right. And now we have another one that is a bit more direct in its oscillation. So a lot of different effects that you can play around with. And then once more, it will kind of just turn itself off. It will start off again in a single color. So if you want to leave it into always red, you can also do that. And here is kind of a breathing mode that is red. Now we have a memory function. So if I type something out, you can see it will light up for a second before fading away, but it's a pretty fast speed. So maybe they could delay that a little bit more in the future. Once more for a reactive mode that splits out by entire row, as you can see there, before going back onto the first one where we started off from. So pretty diverse set of different animations and color effects, which look pretty attractive. And then I can also tap on the side keys here as well to change things like the brightness level as well as the speed of the animation. If I want to pause it so it kind of stops moving, or if I want to speed it up, I can also do that. Anyways, let's do a quick typing test. I'm going to say hello world. And you can see that it's overall pretty responsive. If I'm tapping on the button, it is popping along here almost instantly, not really giving me any significant lag, even if I'm typing really quickly. So as a result, I can type at my regular speed, and it doesn't lose any triggers or anything in between as I'm typing out essays and longer documents, which is great, especially using Bluetooth 5.0 that will give you the fastest connection. Taking this opportunity to do a quick sound test of what the keyboard is like when you are using it. So as you can hear, overall it definitely produces a little bit of noise. I wouldn't say any of the keycaps rattle or anything like that. It still feels like a pretty firm press, but this is again the red switch and not the blue switch, which you can expect to be even a bit louder than this. It's a pretty satisfying sound, especially as you get used to the rhythm of it. You can hear it while you're pressing things down and feels great, but still produces a little bit of noise if there's folks around you. It's something to keep in mind. Not the most quiet red switch I've ever tested, I have to say, especially compared to the aforementioned NuFi Air 75 that we just saw. Using the same switch was a little bit more quiet. And then all the benefits of a mechanical keyboard still ring true here. So in addition to being more tactile, you can get a faster typing speed after training with it for a bit. It's very comfortable to use, and the keycaps will last you longer than traditional island or membrane style layouts. A few closing remarks. Now, this particular model doesn't have a companion program on the computer, so the lighting effects that you see here are the ones that you get. Overall, this is a very solid budget wireless mechanical keyboard. I especially like the way that it looks with some of these gray keycaps. Just makes it seem a little bit more elegant and refined, different from just pure black or all white, and including an extra set of those keycaps is not something that you find typically at this price. It's a solid keyboard overall, something simple just for typing and for a bit of gaming in between. So if that's what you're looking for, you can check out more details in the links down below. For now, that's been our video. Thanks for watching here at OS Reviews.